Good morning and welcome to our session, Caring for Yourself While Caring for Others. My name is Nancy Brenner and I am a Care Services Coordinator for ALS United Greater New York and cover the Lower Hudson Valley. I will be your moderator for the session. Before I introduce our speaker, I want to ask you to put any questions that you have in the Q&A function and we'll get back to them later in the program. And now I am honored to introduce Dr. Carmaletta Zandi to you. Dr. Zandi provides compassionate and comprehensive care to people of all ages, drawing on her expertise and support in a variety of needs. With a strong commitment to depression and anxiety management, Dr. Zandi offers evidence-based therapies to help clients navigate challenging emotions, reduce symptoms, and build resilience. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Zandi, to discuss this very important topic that often is not easy to accomplish. So we look forward to hearing from you. And I will hand it over to you.
Thank you so very much. Let me share my screen here. And hopefully my mouse will keep up with me today, seeing how it wasn't earlier. And I put a new battery in, so we should be good to go. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Dr. Carmaletta Zandi, and I want to begin by acknowledging something very important. If you're in this room, that means you give a lot of yourself to others. Whether you are a clinician, caregiver, provider, friend, or family, you are doing deep and meaningful work that is often very demanding. Today's conversation is not about adding another task to your plate. It's about creating a space for you, which we all often forget. We are going to talk about how to care for yourself while caring for others in a realistic, compassionate, and sustainable way. Let's shift some things that many of us were taught. I think that we should take care of others first. That's what many of us are taught. While that comes with a lot of love, over time that can lead to very exhaustion and other things that come along with that. So I want to offer a reframe for you. Self-care is not something extra. It's not something you earn. It's part of a job. It's part of ethical and long-lasting care. Because the truth is, the quality of care you give is directly connected to how you feel supported. Today, we are talking about self-care as it's not a luxury. We're talking about self-care as a necessity. By neglecting ourselves, our patience shortens, our energy declines, our connection with others is limited. Self-care is actually an ethical responsibility. When we take care of ourselves, we are better able to support others. Let's shift our mindset. Self-care is not selfish. It is a good part of practice. In my 26 years of working with families with disease, disability, domestic violence, and trauma, often over and over, I see the same thing. Caregivers believe that they're just not strong enough. They struggle in the role because it's demanding. They feel that they need to be perfect. And often no one really prepares us to how much it really takes. There's an emotional labor, there's responsibility, there's pressure to hold it all together. And when it becomes overwhelming, many caregivers internalize that. Maybe I should have handled that better. Maybe I should have done this, or maybe I should have done that. Stop it. You're doing your best. What you feel is not weakness. It's your nervous system responding to the lack of self-care. So part of today is understanding that there's nothing you're doing wrong. Your reactions make sense. Caregiving is rewarding, but it also comes with real challenges. Yes, it is a blessing to take care of others, but it also comes with the pressures, internal battles, the isolation, the grief of knowing our loved one's going to pass on a day-to-day walk. I'm giving you permission today to be human. You are a caregiver and you are not the master of being a perfectionist. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You have to do it because it's meaningful. Caregiving affects us emotionally in deep ways. Anxiety, guilt, grief, emotional exhaustion, anger. Take time for you. If someone can come and sit with you for 2 hours, use that time to go sit outside, enjoy the sun, have your hair done, go upstairs and take a nap. So one of the most important skills to develop is awareness, not judgment, just awareness. Noticing, how am I feeling right now? What do I need for myself? Awareness is the first step towards healing and balance. When we don't take care of ourselves, it doesn't just go inside, it finds its way out. How does it come out in you? Now I want to talk about something. What caregiver is emotional and physical. Caregiving doesn't just affect our emotions, it impacts our bodies. Have you ever heard of the book, The Body Keeps Score? I can tell you it certainly is true. I know that there is a couple times during the year that all of a sudden I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? Why do I not want to do anything? And for me, that was last week and through the weekend. It was the anniversary of my daughter's death. So that came through the feelings of my body, not through knowing what date it was. Those things can come out in chronic fatigue, poor sleep, increased aches and pains, stress related to illness. Physical caregiving can also increase risk of injury. And many of our caregivers delay their own medical needs. Don't do that. Your health matters just as important as those you are taking care of. Caring for your body is not a separate thing. It is part of the caregiving. Tell me about some of your emotions that come from caregiving. They both are negative and positive. You can feel love and frustration, compassion and exhaustion, gratitude and grief all at the same time. Many caregivers are carrying guilt. Guilt will make you feel tired. Guilt is a need for space. Guilt of not being enough. These are all stressors. Anxiety, irritability, defensiveness, these are not failures. These are protective reasoning. And reducing stress is the best for everyone. Your mind is trying to carry a very heavy load. Your body carries it too. Caregivers often live in a state of being on, always aware, always anticipating, always ready, always planning, and all of this takes a toll. Don't ignore it because there's always something more urgent. Your body doesn't ignore it. Your body keeps score. When you take care of your physical health, even in a small way, you're helping those that you're taking care of. You're protecting your ability to continue. One of the most important and often unspoken dynamics in caregiving is co-regulation. Our nervous system affects each other. When we're overwhelmed and anxious or tense, the people around us are too. And when we are calm, grounded, and steady, everyone feels safety. It doesn't mean you have to be calm at all times. That's not realistic. But do some of the small things. Take slow breathing. Soften your tone. Your presence is powerful. You are not just providing care, you're shaping an emotional environment. Noise, clutter, overstimulation can increase stress, both caregivers and clients. Many caregivers' environments are busy and unpredictable. So take time for those small things. Reduce unnecessary noise. Create calming spaces. Simplify your routines. When the environment feels calmer, it makes you feel more supported. When caregivers are anxious, rushed, or overwhelmed, distress increases for all. Co-regulation doesn't require perfection. We are emphasizing awareness. So slow your speech, soften your tone, and pause before you respond. Important co-regulation is an act of self-care. Over time, consistent co-regulation practices strengthen resilience, lower burnout, and enhance safety. Consistent matters more than intensity. Small, repeated acts can build resilience. What can you actually do in your daily life to build that resilience? I'm going to keep it very real and doable. Self-care doesn't have to be something really big. In fact, it can be effective in small and consistent doses. Take time for those breaths. Step outside. Massage between your thumb and your index finger. Take time to talk to someone who understands. And one of the most important, powerful things, taking a break away from caregiving. You don't need to do a full day of it. You just need a reboot and refresh. As we close, I want to take time to give some thoughts. Self-care is not optional. If you need someone to tell you to do it, I'm telling you right now, you just need to do it. Support systems matter. When you have a support system, allow them in. Allow them to help you. Allow them to make food. Allow them to help sit while you get self-care. Allow them to help you plan trips to the clinic or go to the clinic with you. Any sustainable caregiver requires balance, awareness, and compassion, not perfection. Most importantly, you deserve the same care, patience, and understanding that you're giving others. Thank you for the work you do. It truly matters. And thank you for taking time to invest in yourself. Thank you for allowing me to share my heart with you.
Thank you so much for that insight. I really like what you said, how self-care is not a luxury, but a necessity. And it is often so overlooked by caregivers because they're so busy doing so many things. So I hope that that message got through to all of you caregivers out there that it's so important to take care of yourselves. And as Dr. Zandi said, it doesn't have to be something huge. It could be taking a few deep breaths to just recenter yourself and be able to rejuvenate a little bit. So we do have a few questions. Sometimes the person with ALS only wants their loved one to care for them. And sometimes that's very stressful on the caregiver. Do you have any tips on how a caregiver can advocate for themselves with their loved one?
I would suggest that, communication is always the most important, right? And so being vulnerable to your partner, your person you're caregiving for is important, and allowing them to think about a time that, they needed to have somebody else take care of things, and allowing them to see where you're coming from. And I understand, I love you tremendously. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But it's important for me to help build myself so I can be the best for you.
Thank you. Again, often hard to do, but so important to speak up and have the conversation so that everybody is taken care of. It's just like being on an airplane, how you have to put the air on yourself before you put it on the person that you're with. So another question is, what tools are available for caregivers?
It really depends on what you're talking about as far as tools. I know that there's organizations and supports, there's caregiver apps. So things that I often suggest is something like a caring bridge where they can, you can put your story out there once to your family. It's just shared with your family, anybody that you're allowing access to. And it's allowing people to see where you are instead of saying it 500 times. Instead of that, being something you feel like you got to regulate all the time. It's important to have that so it can help reduce some of the things that you have to do. As far as safety things, I would say maybe some smart home systems. I'm not gonna say my device name because she will start talking to you, because she seems to interrupt every time I happen to say her name. And so those devices can also help, right? It can help to set reminders for you. It can help to play that calming music. Um, there's different health tracking apps that you can use, different medication management tools. It really depends on what you're needing. There's lots of different support groups. So there's a lot of different options for you depending on what you're looking for tools.
Thank you. And one of the things that people might not know is that we do have a caregiver only support group that meets once a month, the fourth Monday of the month. So if you haven't joined into that, you might consider doing that. I know it would be another thing to put on your agenda, but an important one for self-care. And what would you say is the most important or main thing that someone could do for themselves to take care of themselves?
It is really about taking time. You need to take time and let others in. I know one of the caregivers whose mom just passed. Um, she couldn't take time. She didn't have that support system. So the difference from her who had nobody to others who have a lot of people, please use your support system. It is definitely needed. You need to take those little pieces of time, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, you need to do that the whole time, whether it's a year or 8 years. It's important for you to continue to do that.
Very true. Do you have any tips on how to help a person ask for help?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, do you mean as a help asking your support system to help?
Yes.
So, my suggestion might be to, that family member that's the loudest and everybody knows when they're coming over. That person might be the person that you really reach out to, that they can, you know, be the one you talk to and say, listen, there's so much going on. I need somebody to help me manage everybody, manage family, manage questions. They may be that person that could be writing on the caring bridge. But that's the person I would really talk to really help regulate things that are happening for you, because they're not afraid to talk to everybody.
That's good advice. So something that I've noticed is that um, it is often hard for people to ask for help, but people typically do want to help. Um, and yet there are situations where the people you think that are going to show up for you don't show up for you, and the people you don't expect to show up for you do. And
I
I
do
guess
want to share about that because I want you to remember that no matter what way people come or don't come, it doesn't mean they love you any less. It means that's what they can handle. So you might have a family member that was there the whole time. Now, oh my gosh, you have ALS, okay, and you never see them again, right? They're out of here. That's just because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it. It doesn't mean they love you any less. It really just means that that's what they can handle. So allow them to be them.
that's a good point because I think sometimes people do feel very hurt by the people they expect to show up that don't. Um, and it can be painful for people and it can change their relationship. But you're right, it's important to recognize that they just might not be comfortable and don't know how to be there for them.
Right.
We do have a comment. It's not a question. It's really a lovely comment from
Oh,
Julie saying
got it.
that she's so incredibly thankful to Nancy and Dr. Z for all you do. I could not navigate this without you both. Thank you, Julie.
Oh,
That's
thank
very
you.
kind. Are there any other questions? Oh, I think I might see something else. No. Any other questions or comments that anybody wants to make? If not, I want to thank you so, wait, we have until 12:45. Is there anything else that you want to share, Dr. Zandi? Any
I
other
think it's
points that you think need to be highlighted?
I think that's great. So I do want to say that it's important for you to really, we back on that topic of family and friends that, you're not sure who's going to be there and who's not. Really allowing everybody to be who they are. I mean, I think you do know those people that will run. There's people that will run. It scares them to death. They're not going to do the right thing. Just like you as a caregiver, think that, well, I got to do everything perfectly. You don't. And those that will do, allow them to do because they really have no clue. What can I do to help? I don't want to go and be overwhelming to you, so I'm going to wait till you ask me for help. And that's why I think it's really important to find that person that is the loud person, that is not afraid to share with everybody what they could use help with. I mean, you don't need, 5 dinners in the same night, right? You wouldn't mind one dinner every night for 5 nights. So they can help, organize that. Somebody to organize the things that you need to, you know, have for yourself is important. Allow people to do that.
Yeah, I agree. It's very important. Another thing that is sometimes helpful for people is to have somebody come along with them to a clinic visit and take notes so that the pressure is off of the caregiver to remember everything and for the pals to remember everything. So that's just another thing that I've noticed is helpful with this community.
And I think too, it's important that when you think about clinic, that's an overwhelming day for everybody, right? It is, let's see, I got to plan the whole week to go to the visit. It's going to be an all day visit and it's overwhelming to all of you. So having somebody with you is really a good idea because you don't know what's going to happen on your trip there. You don't know what's going to happen that you need assistance with while you're there. So there's so many things, and I really think it's important for you to have somebody that can go with you if you can. Yes, you have the ability to drive the van and pull it up and, let the ramp down and have them go out and have the valet take care of it. But what about all that planning that took to get that equipment in the van and to get make sure you have everything, make sure you have all your questions, having somebody with you that can help with that so you're not forgetting to ask questions that you really felt important. I mean, you get home and you're like, oh, why does that happen now? I forgot to ask that question. Having that person with you can be really a big help along the way.
It can be. And also, another thing that's helpful is if you write down your questions ahead of time before you go to clinic. Um, so keep that in mind too, because when we get to clinic, sometimes you're feeling anxious, or you're meeting with so many people and you forget to ask the questions that you had.
I think
Okay.
too, another thing that happens is people don't realize what they can ask for. So one of the things I think is like one one of the clients had told me that she always asked Nancy lots of questions. And so I think that's really important that if you don't know um, that you could get something or that there's a tool for that, I think it's important to share with Nancy things like, I really want to sleep in my own bed and I can't seem to get away. I just lay my head, next to the person I'm caring for and I'll just wait till they move and I'll wake up. Well, what about asking Nancy that question and Nancy could maybe share that they have some kind of button that they could push and that would alarm your phone, right? So it's important to share with the people that you're working with at ALS that you have this thing happening. How can we try to make it better?
Absolutely. We are support to all you caregivers out there. So if you're not sure how to handle something, please, please ask and we will try to help. Julie has another recommendation for clinic. If you don't have someone with you to record the visit on your phone, oh, if you don't have somebody to go with you, um, record it on your phone. Or there's also voice memos. And afterwards, you can upload the dialogue to a tool, an AI tool, and it'll summarize it for you. That is a great suggestion. Thanks, Julie.
That
And we
really
have
is.
Yeah, we have another question, which is how can family members, friends, or communities better support caregivers in their daily lives?
Well, I think that really depends on each family, don't you, Nancy? Like, it really depends on how everybody functions. Everybody functions so differently that it's important to make sure that you have somebody that can talk to the caregiver and say, share with me things that are happening so I can help, institute some things. Whether it's Fridays, nobody's coming over, or how about, giving suggestions to caregivers that, hey, a 5 day work week might not work for you. Consider a 4 day work week. And so that you can help get that extra day of rest. So it's really important that we talk to the family member themselves and find out what's happening because it's so different for everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, are there any other questions or comments? This is very valuable information. We have our expert here to help us.
And I want to remind everybody, therapy is not just, oh man, something's wrong with me mentally. That's not what therapy is about, right? Therapy is about allowing us to, release the stresses we have, to try to find new ways to work through things. It's really about giving us that support that we need to get through these hard times.
Yeah, and very important to ask for help if you need it. And in case people don't know, we do have a mental health program now. Dr. Zandi is part of that. And if you are feeling like you need some help, please be in touch with your care services coordinator and we can see if it could be a good match. Um, so doesn't seem like there are any other questions or there is one more comment, which is thank you, Dr. Zandi. Um, oh, Jordana Newler. Jordana, did you want to answer a question? That was in the chat box. Okay, I don't think so. But I would want to thank you very much, Dr. Zandi, for all your guidance and tips and support to those out there who need it. This was very valuable information. And thank you to everybody who joined us today. Our next session is at 1:15 and will be Medical Aid in Dying, a unique end-of-life option for ALS patients with Dr. Jeremy Bowl. Thanks
Thank you all
again.
so very much.